Hello, everyone. Happy Resurrection Week. It's a good day to be alive. It's a good week to be alive, actually. I'm excited that this week, over 2,000 years ago, this was the week that light came into the world. This light was Christ, and his light became the life of men. I'm happy because this week, over 2,000 years ago, death was defeated, hell was defeated, Satan was defeated. The key to the gates of hell is in the hands of the Almighty. And so now the children of Jacob can possess their possessions. You can go in and be able to possess your possessions. Everything the enemy has stolen from you, have delayed, these things are going to become it is open. It's open. Satan has been defeated. Death that used to be terror has been defeated. The darkness, all the mysterious and evil deeds of the enemy in the dark has been exposed. Now we know the Father better. Light has come. We know the Father better. We know the things that are freely given unto us. We understand all this, and that's why we're excited. I'm excited for this week. And this is Resurrection Week, guys. And I want to take a series for this period that most of us will be at home. I want to deal on the issue I've called a topic I've called the spirituality of wealth, the spirituality of wealth. And there's going to be a resurrection financially for us, for those who listen attentively this holiday. And I know that your businesses and your finances will be a rebirth, a rejuvenation, and a resurrection of your finances as well this week. So just hang in there, and this the next 5 6 days, I'm going to be dealing with different aspects of spirituality or wealth. Wealth is spiritual. Wealth is more spiritual than physical, and at the end of this couple of days, you will see how wealth is more spiritual than physical. I will hinge and I start my presentation today on the life of Jacob. We're going to use the life of Jacob this few days to talk about spirituality or wealth, because Jacob, for some reason, knowingly, um, um, unknowingly, he was able to apply the spirituality. He understood the spirituality of wealth, and somewhere along the line from his life, we will be able to understand what wisdom for wealth or spirituality or wealth as well means. So I will just read from um, I think from Genesis 30 to Genesis 30 verse 25 to 34. I will not be reading all, but for some, I will tell us the story of what happened in that time. But let me just read a couple of verses for you. Verse 25. It says, "And it came to pass when Rachel born Joseph, that Jacob said to Laban, send me away that I might go to my own place, to my own country. Give me my wives and my children for whom I have served you, and let me go. For you know how my service which I have done for you." Verse 27 says, "And Laban said to him, Please stay, if I have found favor in your eyes, for I have learned by experience that the Lord has blessed me for your sake." Then he said, "Name your wages and I will give it." This is Laban knowing, is it not frustrating to know that you are putting in your best somewhere, and the people are behaving as if you're not even doing anything? You're with your uncle, you're putting in your best, and they are not appreciating you. And sometimes it happens to us. God allows us to pass through certain things so that He can help build us along the way. Let's consider verse 29 now. So Jacob said to him, "You know, I've served you, and you know how I have served you, and how your livestock has been with me. For what you had before I came was little. It has increased to a great amount. The Lord has blessed you since my coming. And now, when shall I provide?" Verse 30, we're still on 30. He said, "Now, when shall I provide for my house?" You know, so he said, "What shall I give you?" Laban speaking now, and Joseph said, sorry, Jacob said, "You shall not give me anything. You will do this thing for me. I will again feed and keep your flocks. Let me pass through all your livestock today, removing from them all the speckled and the spotted sheep, and all the brown ones among the lambs, and the spotted and the speckled among the goats, and this shall be my wages. So my righteousness will answer for me in time to come, when the subject of my wages comes before you. Every one that is speckled and spotted among the goats and brown among the lambs will be considered stolen if it is with me." And Laban said, that it were that it were according to your word, or let it be according to your word. You see, there comes a time in a man's life that any kind of life can no longer suffice. As a single man, you can probably do anything that you want, and you can live any way that you want. But time comes, you have children. You begin to you think about posterity. You begin to think about your children. And Jacob was having loads of children, lots of children, and he said, because what the Bible says, when he gave birth to Joseph, and that's when he said, "No, Laban, I need to go. I need to do something for with my life." When a man begins to get to 40 years, he begins to say, "No, I need to leave a legacy." He's thinking about posterity. And this is what happened to Jacob. And Jacob said, "No, this life, any kind of life can no longer suffice for me. No, I need more." You see, youthful exuberance sometimes confuses us to think that um activity equals progress. When you are young, you have power, you have energy, you're doing a lot, and you feel that being called to do a lot means progress. Sometimes you can be active for 2 years, but in the real sense of it, there is no progress in your life. And let me give an example. I have a young man, and he said, well, that is a creative, and that he can't work for someone because one of the things he doesn't like is to wake up anytime less than 11 o'clock in the morning, and that he works in the night. And, he said a couple of things. And I said, okay, fine. You can say this because you're not married. You can say this because you don't have kids. And because one day your kid will come and tap you, "Dad, don't you go to work?" And then you begin to realize that you have to structure your life in a different way. Every man is supposed to employ at least 4 people in his lifetime. So we all should contribute to raising others. And so I told him that is this type of life is good for you. They call you make 20,000 here, 40, 50, and it's good for you without any structure. But a day will come that you will need structure. And when you're looking for the big jobs, they want to see that you have structure. And when that structure becomes a problem for you, you will not, then you realize that, look, I just cannot live this kind of life. When you're paying children's school fees and it's moving up, can you imagine if you put your child in a private secondary school? Private secondary school is sometimes is costlier than a private university. Sometimes it's are almost the same, or secondary school education is almost as expensive as a university education in Nigeria. What am I saying? There's a time you renting can no longer renting is you begin to feel uncomfortable being in a rented apartment. You begin to feel uncomfortable that you're not living things, you're not buying land, you are not able to do some certain things, certain aspirations. And I believe that this was where Jacob was. And he said, look, I have children, I don't want them to see me, and I don't want them to see me in this way. They are asking me, where are we from? And we need more, and you become restless in your spirit. And you say you want more. The same thing applies for women. Um, when you begin to have kids, or when you begin to get to a certain age, you begin to realize that, oh, my looks and the way I look, I have to improve on my look, because they said how you want to how the first impression, it matters. So a lady should be able to put herself in a particular position, should be able to take care of herself so that she can be presentable at all times. So just being the excuses of, oh, okay, let me just put on, tie my hair and just walk out, and wear jeans, and act, and just walk out and do things at some certain age is not going to, you are not, there are no excuses that you people expect more from you. As a mother, people expect more from you. As someone's wife, people will expect more from you. And even when you have a husband that is providing everything, guilty, there will be a guilty conscience for a friend of mine says some women don't have that conscience, but I don't believe it. I believe it's a small percentage that just feels that in nowadays I want to sit down and someone is providing. Yes, someone should provide. This is the man's job, but at the same time, you have that guilt that is tugging in your heart. I need to also do something. This is my house. This is my wife. These are my children. I need to do something. This is where Jacob was in his life. I need to do more. I can be more. But why am I like this? I need to go back to my country. I need to go back to my home. I need to do this. This was what Jacob served 20 years. Out of that 20 years, 7 was for the woman he loves, and or he loves or loved at that time. But now he's no longer young. He has served 14 years for 2 women, and I'm sure he's wondering, why did I do that? He served another 6 years, and he said, no, I think I'm done with this, my uncle. I need to do something else. Do not ignore those restive spirits, because I believe that restiveness and that thing that is happening, in your happening to you, these are indications. I even call it God sent. Uh, they are indications that it's time for you to grow. There are indications that it's time for you to make a change your life. So those indications are there. So do not ignore those indications. It's talking about growth. Okay, some might be running. Some of us, if it's not all these things that I'm talking about, then it has to be. Some might be running from overbearing parents. Some might be running from the environment. They don't like the environment they live. They don't want to be around poor people anymore. For those that grew up on the poor side of the city, they don't want to be there anymore. Like Laban, for some, they might be running from their brother. Jacob was running from Esau, who was ready to kill him and has vowed that once their father dies, that he's definitely going to kill him. So Jacob was running. He had youth, he had time, he was a young man, he was running. And at that particular time, for when you're young like that, anywhere but home will do. You do your youth service and you say, look, I'll remain in this city. I'm not going back home again. And unfortunately, those feelings are short-lived. Those feelings are short-lived. But when you're young, you just want to do anything. It's okay, I'm fine, and I can do that. But there comes a time that you don't want to run anymore. You don't want to stay in a city that doesn't offer you much, or stay on a job, or stay among friends that are not helping you to become better. That restiveness inside of Jacob is just growth. If it's happening to someone listening to me, is growth that is actually tugging at you, drawing you, and announcing it. It's the Holy Spirit that is announcing